Why is this not doing it? Hi, and welcome to Ladies of the Paranormal. I just banged my knee, so I'm like making faces
Ouch.
on the other side while we're listening to the intro. And for some reason, my intro didn't want to work at first, but we're good. um, so, ladies, we are here. We got someone who says hi, Mama, and they call me Fluffy. Says evening.
Hello, hello.
Um, so today we're going to talk with everybody. Again, as usual, this is one of my favorite families to talk to. Everybody's got all kinds of stuff to share. Today, Chantel's going to share a little bit about an ex that happened in a place that you used to live. Is that right?
Yes,
Yeah.
a place
All right.
we
So why
used to
don't you
live and a place we
kick
almost
off
bought.
with
Well, the house that we lived in, it was a rent house, but we had several experiences there. Both me and my middle daughter. Um, there was a real long hallway in the house. It was an older house, but there was a real long hallway that all the bedrooms were connected off of, and you always got the feeling anytime you were in that hallway that there was somebody watching you. Which I'm used to that. You know, I grew up with that. No big deal. Well,
right.
then when I was in at night, my bed would get bumped. And if I ignored it,
Oh.
it felt like something was trying to climb onto the bed with me. So that was never any fun. If you were sitting out
That's
in the
kind of
living
creepy.
room, it kind of was. If you were sitting out in the living room, you could feel it peeking around the corner. Like it would
Hmm.
peek and then duck back, like it didn't want to be seen. But we never got
No,
any
thank you.
indication. Well, we never got any indication that it was malevolent in any way. It almost felt like a child. Uh, and I had been there for a couple of
Like
years. And
just
I'm sorry.
so did it feel like an essence? Like uh, you can tell the difference between a malevolent and an innocent spirit. Did this feel more innocent on that
Yes,
side?
very much so. Um, it felt like about like a 9, 10 year old child. Very innocent, nothing nothing harmful or anything like that. So we just kind of left it alone. Um, my son came down to see me and ended up staying with me for a while, and it actually got more active. And mom was down to visit, and we were talking about it, and she started getting impressions. But the impression,
Nope, she just froze.
Yeah.
There we go.
There she goes.
figuring
Maybe.
out,
You keep freezing, Chantel.
You
oh,
You keep
froze.
sorry,
freezing.
It must be reaching all the way out from Sweetwater.
right?
You
Well,
froze just as you were starting to talk about the hall.
oh wow,
Yep.
that was way back. Um, if you were going down,
Oh man.
Oh, her internet is so horrible. It's horrible. It always does
Yeah,
that.
I can. Okay, until she pops back. What she was talking about, the bed jiggling, I actually had that same experience there at her house.
Hmm.
My husband and I went for the weekend to visit, and she was telling me about it because she'd been sleeping out
Yeah,
in the
definitely
living room
not her night
couch.
for tech. Definitely not her night for tech, Kendra says.
And yeah, and so of course Chantel gave us her bed, and it was a big king size bed. So we go to, and she said if she left the light on in the bedroom, or at least a good night light, it would leave her alone. Well, I didn't want that, so we turned the light out,
Hmm.
and we're laying there, and I'm just waiting. Steve goes to sleep. Turn light, flip a light switch, he's out. So I'm laying there, and it didn't take long, maybe 15 minutes. And it was just like somebody
Oh,
standing at the foot of the bed and they bump the bed with their knee. And you know how the whole bed will kind of give that jiggle effect? That's exactly what it did. And I thought, okay,
there we go.
there's what she was
Welcome back,
talking about.
Marlon.
I was
Absolutely.
telling about what happened with me and Steve.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, okay. So I waited and I didn't react to it. Kept my eyes closed like I was still sleeping. It did it again even
Mhm.
harder, and the bed even jiggled even harder, where I actually like moved on the bed. And I thought,
Oh,
okay,
wow.
getting a little more aggressive, and I still didn't react to it. And the next thing I know, you know what it feels like when a toddler is trying to climb on your bed and they're grabbing the sheet or the blanket to pull
Yeah.
themselves up. That's
Hmm.
exactly what happened, and I could feel it crawling on the end of the bed from the foot of the bed on the bed, and then started to crawl towards me. And as soon as that happened, then I opened up my eyes, and as soon as I did, it was gone.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I totally understood why she started sleeping out in the living room on the couch, because she said
Yeah, I
he'd leave
can't
her
blame
alone
her
out there
there. I
mostly.
mean, there's something heartbreaking
Yeah.
about it being a child spirit. I don't know about you, but I have a tendency to like almost want to cry when I know it's a
Well,
small,
Sometimes, well,
innocent
what we
child.
ended
well,
up
there's a twist to it, so I'll let Chantel pick it back up.
what we ended up figuring out. My son came down to see us, and I don't know if that triggered it or what, but Frank was there and Mom was there, and Mom started getting impressions, and the impression she was getting was of a grown man, a
Oh,
physically grown man. Uh, well, then he started kind of giving Frank impressions. Come to find out, physically he was grown. Mentally, he was about 10 years old,
oh.
and
Well,
His
now
had
that's
stature was
interesting.
still small, though.
yeah, he he never mentally
Like somebody
developed.
with like maybe a disability like autism or something.
Um, Possibly, probably more along the lines of like Down syndrome or you know something like that, but severely. Uh, he had problems with his legs too.
Oh, oh, that's
So
horrible.
yeah, that was kind of what we figured out, and he gave us a name, but I don't remember what it was. But after
I
that,
don't
it kind
remember.
of yeah, after that it kind of calmed down a little bit, and we still felt him around, but not near as much.
Right.
Well,
Well, and maybe recognizing or even acknowledging that they existed may have put them at peace, at least knowing that they've been heard.
possibly, very possibly, it could have calmed him down a little bit. Did this reflect in the way he interacted with you? A little bit. Like I said, he calmed down a little bit. Um, we acknowledged that he was there. We knew he was peeking around the corner, and we told him that as long as he wasn't there to hurt anybody, that was
Hmm.
okay.
Right.
And
Right.
that calmed down. The only other big interaction I had in that house, and I'm not sure if I think it was him.
They
Um,
call me Fluffy asks, did this reflect in the way that he interacted with y'all?
yes, it did. Like I said, he calmed down quite a bit. Uh, the only other big interaction I had, a lot of times when Alicia would get off the bus, she would come and sit with me on the couch. Well, we both ended up dozing off. My middle daughter wasn't home yet or had gone back out. I'm not sure. I don't remember which. But we're sitting there on the couch, and like I said, we were watching TV, and I guess we just kind of dozed off a little bit because Alicia was asleep beside me. I had my arm around her. and I about halfway woke up. You know, where you feel like you're still asleep, but your mind is active, and you think you're awake.
Right. Yeah, you're just kind of like right on the precipice.
Right. What woke me up is I heard somebody singing, and it sounded like a little girl singing. So I thought, oh crap, Alicia's awake. I need to get up. You know. So I started to kind of struggle up, and as soon as I thought, oh crap, Alicia's awake, the singing stopped, and all I hear in my head is, I'm not a girl. I'm not a girl. And then I felt hands on my throat.
Oh wow.
And yeah, he was seriously angry.
You need the
Uh,
other bottle.
and I remember I remember thinking, you've got to fight this. You're not going to come out of this. So I started struggling, or it felt like I was struggling, to the point where I had gotten myself down on the floor and was kicking him off. And I managed to croak out, I'm sorry. And the next thing I know, my eyes pop wide open, and I'm still sitting on the couch with my arm around Alicia, who's sound asleep.
Oh wow. That's kind of that's
That one was
scary.
that was the
That's
fact that he
scary.
could physically
I'm
affect
good
me
with
like that. That kind of freaked me a little bit. But after that, he went almost non-existent. I mean, we didn't feel him anymore. He didn't peek around the corners anymore. So I don't know if he got mad and left or what the deal was with that. But that one was scary.
Yeah,
Well,
that's definitely really, really kind of
yeah,
unnerving. I would say unnerving.
Because he
yes,
was messing with her astral self,
Yeah,
yeah.
not
that's
only
what it
her
sounds
physical
like.
body, but with his hands around her neck, but her thinking she was on the floor and everything. That was her astral self.
It had to have been.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's scary.
he was physically affecting, or well, I say physically, he was affecting me to the point where like I said, I had that thought that if I didn't fight back, I wasn't coming out of it.
Yeah,
So that was pretty intense. But while we were
yeah,
living
that's
there, we
pretty.
were.
That's pretty unnerving, and I would kind of steer clear personally.
But
Uh,
yeah, after that, he pretty much disappeared. Um, Sorry, my other daughter messaged me.
oh, you're good. I thought you froze again.
Yeah, no. But like, we stopped feeling him after that. I didn't feel him watching around the corners. I slept
You
in
think
my
maybe
room a
he?
couple of nights
Do
and
you think
didn't have
maybe
any
he
problems.
crossed on to the next leg?
Well, either that or just went into hiding because he was mad at me.
Do you think it's possible that that maybe because he was, uh, in a sense, mentally challenged, that
Hmm.
maybe it's he scared himself, and that he knew that he didn't, like a little kid, he knew he didn't want to hurt you, and so maybe he faded back
That's
because he
that's
was
yeah,
afraid.
that's very possible.
That's another possibility. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, once
Like
he
when little
realized what had
kids,
happened, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
because a lot of the times with adults that are like that, that are if you will mentally challenged, uh,
Right.
they have immense, I know we're talking physical, but
Mhm.
immense physical strength. So in his, especially when they get uh,
I know.
upset,
Yeah.
Hmm.
rage.
Oh, and he was absolutely enraged. So it's
You
very
know,
possible he felt bad.
when I think of that, I think of kind of somebody that's got themselves bundled up in a corner somewhere, kind of like rocking back and forth. That's kind of what comes to my mind when someone is older but have mental. I don't want to call them delays, but yeah, kind of delays. They don't know how to react, so they either explode or they withdraw completely. Maybe yours
Yeah.
withdrew.
Yeah, it's very possible.
Kendra's comments dead on with that guy, because of
Yeah.
course she was there and
Yeah.
experienced a lot of this. And yeah, she's
Yeah.
right. He did. Because if you remember, Chantel, we sat in your bedroom
Hmm.
and tried to communicate with him, and he
Hmm.
would get upset almost to the point of like a small child and
Hmm.
want to cry and like have a tantrum.
Hmm.
And then we'd say, no,
Yeah.
no, calm down and just talk to us. And then he wouldn't talk to us
Hmm.
at all, like he was pouting, and the energy was constantly fluctuating around him. So it was really hard to deal with and try to
It
make
sounds
him
like
understand.
an emotional curveball that just he doesn't know
Yes.
how to feel, so his
But
Yeah.
emotions were all over
yeah,
the place.
and
You guys were feeling all of
considering the
that.
time period that your house was built, if he, let's say, originally lived in that house or lived sometime during that time period, a lot of the times uh, when adults were that way, they didn't take them out into public, or the parents
They
wouldn't.
locked them away. They hid them.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they tended not to listen, or they would make them feel guilty about,
Being the way they were.
Oh, that's
yes.
right. I forgot about that. I forgot about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
He
I
would he
figured
would hide
Kendra
small things.
would remember some stuff.
Yeah,
Okay,
he
can you
liked to,
read
and
that
it
to me?
wasn't
Because I
anything
can't read
big.
it.
It
It's covered
was
by my thing.
uh, she says he also liked to hide small things until we got more stern, like a kid who's trying to play and doesn't realize he can't hide those things. A spoon. Yeah,
Ah, okay.
Mhm.
little things, and we'd be like,
Now,
okay, you need to bring that back now. You don't take what doesn't belong to you.
Right.
right.
Almost like a
Now,
child
Yeah.
when
now,
they get
correct,
into something they're not supposed to, or they take something they're not supposed to.
now, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you also set the ground rules with him that he couldn't go into Allie's room and bother Allie while she was sleeping?
Yes. When we first made contact with him, that was one of the things, because he was telling us that he liked it there, that he liked us. That's why he watched us. And we told him that that was fine as long as he didn't want to hurt us, but he needed to stay out of Allie's room, because Allie at the time was only like 5 or 6. And if
Mm,
she had certain stuffed animals go missing, she would go nuclear on me.
Yeah.
oh
Kendra said he
God.
wanted to play with her.
Yeah. And we told him that no, she didn't understand, that she was too little and that he needed to leave her
Right.
alone. And
Gotcha.
as far as I know, he respected that. Allie never said
Well, that's
anything about it.
good. A lot of things that people don't understand is, if you use your words are powerful.
Yes.
Um, and that doesn't just mean, you have to read from a Bible for it to be powerful.
Right.
It's the intent behind what's being said and the strength at which you're putting behind it. Um,
Ye-
yours,
Yeah.
for instance, don't go in Allie's room. That set a clear boundary.
Yeah,
That
Yep.
ownership.
yeah. Okay, so with this entity now having either gone to the background, if he wanted to play with her, he liked to sit. I'm sorry, trying to read under my
No,
little
that's fine.
logos here.
It
Can
says
you
he
read the rest of that?
people
She
or
froze. He liked to sit in whatever room there were people and just watch them or try to play with them.
Ah, okay, okay.
You froze, Chantel.
There were a couple times when I was there.
bad internet connection.
One of the times I was there. Mom and I had gone, and she didn't say, neither Chantel or Mom said anything to me. But I told them, I said, "Hey, there's somebody peeking around the corner," and they're like,
Okay.
"Come down this way." And Mom and I spent the night in the bedroom that night, and I felt the jiggle to the bed, and she said, just wait, and she's like, just don't say anything. And it was the same, it was the same way that, but it was on. I think he was, because I was the first. It was one of the first times I had gone to Chantel's house. He was,
You knew he was testing you out.
yeah, yeah,
Now,
and
is
I
this
was
the
just
house that
like,
you're still
whatever.
currently in?
Hmm?
Say again?
Is this your current house?
No, no, I don't live in Sweater anymore. I'm in a different place.
Okay.
But after we had been there for several years, was there any time you
Was
guys
there
came?
any Was there any time you guys came across an entity that you felt like you knew them without knowing them? Like some kind of familiarity?
Um, not so much for me. I mean, Mom had a visit from our cousin after she was murdered, but that was
Yeah,
very
my
brief,
niece.
and we knew who she was and what it was.
Oh yeah, I recognized her voice, of course.
But it wasn't in that house, though, was it?
No, that was the one
Mm,
in Denton that we were going to
Okay.
talk about, but we're going to wait till Veronica can join us
Yeah.
since she
Okay,
So,
can add
Kendra
to it.
says he was lonely and he didn't like the house to be empty. When I would come home from school after the house being empty, there would be a buzz of excitement in the house. Then she
yeah,
says
In the
empty.
house, yeah, yeah.
yeah. That was, oh, they're home, kind of thing. Yeah,
Now,
Emma.
I mean,
like a
That's
kid. Yeah.
yeah.
if you had to quantify that experience, would you say that it was more on the unusual but not frightening kind of level? Because there's different levels of hauntings. There's different levels
Right.
of spiritual attachments. If you had to really kind of put this on a level, what level would that be for you?
Uh, Pretty benign instance. He was very calm for the most. I mean, he wasn't angry or caused a lot of problems.
Right.
So for me, it wasn't unusual.
I
It was
guess, how do I put this? There's your usual hauntings, which is someone of mind and age are the same. Okay, so if you're 21, you're 21. If you're 13, you're 13. If you're 58, you died at 58. Your mentality
right.
is at 50. Let's, for that, dealing with a
Uh,
fully grown adult with the mind, mentality, and behaviors of a child. How was that for you in a level of commonality?
Not that's not. I haven't. I think that's the first time we've ever run into that. Um, we were having trouble figuring it out uh, because it's something we've never really run into. But once we figured it out, then I was, I was like, okay, now I know how to deal with him. I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because it helped that I could see him in my head, the image of him and his mannerisms and how he would look and his facial expression and how he would kind of move his head, and so that helped me to recognize that his mental state was more of a child's than an
Hmm.
adult's, because he physically looked like an adult, but the emotional aspect that would show on his face you could tell was childlike.
Yep.
Got you. Something like that kind of breaks my heart as much as if it was a child.
Yeah.
Because this is
Yeah.
from
Absolutely.
someone with a very innocent, very, very innocent mindset. So
Hmm.
again,
Yeah.
it's kind of like losing a child because they never truly matured before they died.
Yeah.
Yep.
So for me, that would be, I think, heartbreaking and sad to come across. No different than if it was an actual child.
Yeah.
Um, Now, collectively, you guys have a lifetime of really amazing stories. And I haven't heard too much from Shauna. So I want to see what you got for tonight's little episode. Why don't we go back into your the story we were talking about the last time? You and your mom were. I can't remember if she was if that was Chantel or
when I was there with Shauna in her house.
yeah. Yeah, because we were going to do the live experiment, and we never did get
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've had a couple of things happen that we're trying to I don't want to say see if we can recreate, but we're trying to debunk them before we
share them.
Yes. But since I've been here a year in October, and this last go around where my husband was traveling, my mom will come and stay with me just because right now, I mean, I have several health issues that if something were to happen, I need somebody here to take care of me medically. And so mom was here, and I told mom, I said, a lot of the time I'll be laying in my room and I'll hear I can hear people talking or singing, and but this, and I've never been able to catch it in a time, because if I hear it, then it's one of the rare times that if I try to wake her up, she'll be like really deep asleep, and she doesn't sleep deeply. But it seems that if I experience something while she's here, then they'll put her to sleep, or if she experiences something, then I'm asleep. And neither one of us sleep very well to begin with. But this last go around, my house that I live in was built in 1962. And so the master bedroom has, on one side of the master bedroom, you have the double accordion closets.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is, right by the front entrance to the room, there is another closet that's like a walk-in closet.
Mm-hmm.
And that door, that closet, we don't use that closet a whole lot. It has a bunch of stuff that I need to go through and put away in it. It's a really easy cram and hide closet. But we had gone to bed, and I was sleeping pretty heavy that night, and all of a sudden I kind of wake up a little bit, but not, I rouse, but I'm not conscious, I guess, if you will. But the closet door opened just on its own.
No.
Just all on its own. And it's never done that before, why we've lived here. And so mom was like, Shauna,
Closet door's open.
Closet door open. I'm like, okay. Yeah. And it didn't, it's like I couldn't, it's like I heard her. I woke up enough to set up and look, but then I laid right back, and I heard her, but it was just really weird.
It didn't quite comprehend.
Well, it did.
What just happened?
It did, but it was almost like, kind of like, well, I know, or, but I was like, I'm too tired to care, which was wrong. Because normally something like that, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm not going back to sleep. But
especially the closet.
Kendra says peekaboo.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And mom, we just kind of watched it for a minute, and the air conditioning was not on.
Mhm.
There was no breeze, nothing that could uh, make this door do this. But the
Mhm.
door, you could just see it go like this. It was
Mm.
just kind of like it was vibrating almost. So, the next day we were talking about, well, could that be a portal? Could that have been a
Mhm.
portal that just opened up? Could it have been this? Could it have been that? And the only thing that I can say that, you know, they always say about animals being so perceptive and being bothered,
Mhm.
alerting, not one. Any instance that we've had with the entity that I have in this house, not one time have
Okay.
my animals alerted.
Kendra's got a
Yeah,
question
well,
for us.
No, there weren't.
Roxy was staring at the door that night,
Yeah,
Shauna. Roxy was staring at the door.
yeah. I didn't pick up on that, so I
She
didn't
was
know that
over
she
by
was.
me. Yeah.
So Roxy is my Yorkie, and she is the only one that sleeps with us at night, just because she has a collapsing trachea, and so I want to make sure that if something happened, we can hear her breathe.
Yeah.
Uh, but no, there wasn't any, and that's the other thing that Mom and I were kind of waiting for, is that we were waiting for some kind of,
Bark or rustle or
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Something to kind of give away.
or just a change in the energy in the room,
Right.
which there wasn't. And that's what Mom and I were talking about, is that's what was so strange, is that neither one of us felt any kind of change of energy. And
Mhm.
that's what's so kind of weird about all of this, is that any interaction that we've had with the jokester, that the old man that's here, uh, it's really difficult because there's not he doesn't make it easy to pick up on it. He camouflages himself very, very well,
he's very good at hiding.
and maybe just wanted a slumber. Well, if he wanted a slumber party, he wanted more of like a raunchy pajama party.
Voyeur much?
Huh?
Voyeur much?
Right, sleepover.
Sleepover.
He said sleepover.
Like sleep in between. Because I
And
kind
just
of get,
stay in the closet.
yeah, the vibe, and that's the thing, is that there are, uh just like Mom and Chantel, all my life I'm so used to things coming in and out, in and out, in and out,
Hmm.
and it's just recently uh, that I've kind of come into the, I'm not, yes, old men are usually harder to read, even a lot. Yeah, that's because,
Old
well,
men in general are hard to read.
yeah, I just look at it, most old men are anyway. And he German, so
I hate
there
to say it, but
you have that.
men claim to be so simple. Have you ever tried getting a man something for Christmas?
And
Oh, I gave up on that a long time ago.
or asking them where they want to eat. But
Ask them what they want for dinner. They don't fucking know.
no, no. But I think that I know he picks and chooses when to make himself known. I know that he's here all the time, but it's really hard to pick up on. But I think because he is so adamant about, I'm not going anywhere, I'm here, that it's made me a lot more comfortable, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not so nervous and scared at every knock and bump and noise. And if the closet door opens, I'm more like, oh, all right, let's see what's coming out of this thing. And
Right.
that's
Like,
what I
you
told mom.
opened
I
it,
said,
no study.
yeah, exactly. Hey, do you mind here? But that's one of the things that I can say positively is what, the family here has really helped me be more comfortable about developing my
So
abilities
Kendra
and not
Kendra
being
asks,
afraid.
when did this all start? Like, was it since y'all moved in? Since you moved in?
Well, I talked with the people that live across the street, and they were best. His family, he actually halfway grew up in this house. His family was friends with the family that lived here. And their house across the street was the first house built in this area, and our house was the second house.
Oh wow! So the building
And
itself is pretty old.
yeah. These were built in the early '60s, and they haven't said anything about that throughout the years. There's never been anybody that has said anything about any kind of experiences or anything that have gone on in this house. Now, the surrounding houses, yes. Uh, a matter of fact, the house next door to us, uh, there was a father. There was a son lived in one house, and then up the road a father lived in the other, and they both the father committed suicide,
Hmm.
and then the son committed suicide
Hmm.
because of the father.
So we're
And
talking some pretty dark history.
yes, and just several things throughout, and we're off of a creek, so anytime you have any kind of moving water, anything like that. But it's just, I don't know. It's it's been enlightening for me. I think, I was telling mom the last time she was here, the things that are happening here, I'm noticing, uh, but it's not.
Did we lose Chantel? We lost her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's almost like they're challenging me. Like he's challenging me, like, where am I? Can you find me? Do you notice me?
Huh.
And so,
He has a protective energy around him.
Let's see. Did we get her back
He's
yet? There she is.
protective.
There you are. We lost you again.
Yeah,
and
That's
that's
probably
why.
why you feel so comfortable, Shauna, because he's protective over you.
Yes, and I think that's why he doesn't upset. The animals aren't upset either.
well, that's what I was going to say a while ago before I froze again. Um,
I
a
was
lot
gonna
of
say
times
before we froze again.
when you have a spirit like that, it does protect the house from anything else coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So,
He
compared
opened the
to,
garage door on me, the kitchen
oh
door.
yeah,
He opened it on me. Yeah. And then he locked Shauna out. She thought I locked the door and I didn't.
yeah. I was like, why did you lock the door? And she's like, I didn't.
No.
And I said, oh.
I was
I
watching.
said, well,
Yeah, she had run to the store, and I was staying watching the dogs, and
Kendra
I'd
says.
gotten up.
Kendra says, sounds like maybe he isn't trying to be a hindrance. Sounds more like a family member almost.
oh yeah, definitely. He's definitely like that quirky uncle or grandpa that's the jokester.
Not me.
She says, Nana playing tricks. Or Nana.
Nana. Yeah,
Nana,
it's kind of like that grandpa or uncle that'll
Practical
tweak your
joke,
nose and
everybody.
give you a peppermint.
It does sound very familial in sense.
It does, and like I said, I'm not afraid, or I haven't, since we've been here. I haven't sensed anything even remotely malicious. And there's lots of things that pass through, but I definitely think mom hit the nail on the head that he does guard and protect
Mhm.
a lot. And I think that's again why
Perhaps a
I do feel
guardian
so
angel
comfortable.
type entity.
Hmm. Very, yes, very grandpa-ish. Yes,
I think of entities like that as guardian angels for a few different reasons. People who are gifted generally have guardian angels. Everybody has a guardian angel. Everybody does. But whether or not you can communicate with yours or make any kind of connection to them, totally different. What about remotely delicious? Okay. Um, that's what they call me. Fluffy says. What about remotely delicious? um,
Not sure what
not
he's
sure.
talking about
I
there.
no idea. Um,
yeah.
but I think that those who can connect with theirs feel more comfortable around them, and yours might be your guardian angel in a sense.
Because you said
Uh,
malicious.
Oh, instead of malevolent or something.
because you said malicious. Oh, I was like, why are we talking about remotely
he's
delicious? But okay,
he's got
because you said
jokes.
malicious.
Like Fluffy Man.
I love it. And guys, I'm gonna take a kind of a vote here on how do we feel about the live chat. So if you like the live chat, just put it down in the live chat bar. Let me know what you think about it. I want to try and build a community on my show. It's not just about me, the host. It's glorified title. I really enjoy being able to connect with my viewers as well as my company. So let me know what you think and rate it, 1 through 5 stars or whatever. Let me know what you think. Again, I think being a host, great. You've got a show, good for you. But how does your show run? Okay. Do you make it to where everybody can feel a part of the show? And that's my whole goal is to make everybody feel a part of the show. And thank you, Kendra. I love that you love it. Absolutely. Yes, we do. It helps us to interact with the show. And you know what? That is my whole goal. And giving you guys the chance to connect with not just me, but also my guests and get your opinions out there, get your questions out there. Um,
You don't know unless you ask.
Exactly. And we love being asked questions throughout the show. I can ask the same 50 questions 150 10 billion ways from Sunday. But there's somebody out there that I'm sure has questions about your guys' experiences that I haven't asked. 8 out of 10. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Um, so for you guys having these unique experiences, now you've only been in this house for a year. Do you think your presence in the home has activated 4 out of 5? Thank you, Fluffy. Has maybe activated or created the activity or caused it to start up? Or do you think that there was activity prior to you?
I think he was here prior, and they both he and his wife both, I believe, passed in the home. And I think that they were here. They were just uh, either waiting. He was either waiting for someone that he knew he could interact with, or once he started interacting and I started saying, okay, what do you want? you know, um,
He knows I'm here.
exactly. And
Yep.
so, but I think that they've been here um, all along, just because this was their home. This was their homestead. They built this. A matter of fact, they had built it, and then they moved away and they moved back and to this particular house, and they loved it so much um, that they both, like I said, they both passed in the home. um,
Right.
and so and again, finding when we looked at the house, just the overall, my husband and I, we love the house itself, the aspect, the original some of the original aspects. We talk
That's
about
what I was actually just going to ask you is what drew you to the house to begin with. Um,
it, the area, where it's at, but the way that just the way that the house set on the lot, and just the it's hard to explain. It's just like the kitchen and the family room and the hallway, they have the
I think,
original
yeah,
terrazzo tile, and it has just a lot of we have always loved older homes. And so this was just a nice, it's like a 60s ranch. And so it was a nice home for us that had character.
and I guess part of what I was asking is, did you feel like there was something lively about the house prior to finding out there was something lively about
Oh yeah. Yeah. Matter of fact, the first time I looked at it, I told Mom, I said, yep. I said, they're there. I said, but, and they were excited hearing us talk about how excited we were about the the terrazzo floor, and the teardrop, this, and oh my God, look at the yellow toilet and shower, uh they and it's funny because my husband asked me, any house that we went to go look at, he would ask me, is there anybody here? Is it okay? I'm like, yes. I said, they're here, but yes, it's okay. Yes. They're very happy. I said, what you want them to be happy that you're wanting to move into their home. But
right? You
yes,
don't want them going, I don't want you here, so I'm going to scare you out.
exactly. Yeah. But no, I picked up on them, the first time that we walked through the house. So definitely, I guess I think that went a long way because they knew I did.
Right. Well, and I've been in places where you walk in and you almost get this overwhelming sensation.
Yes.
And those are the places that I tend to be a little more leery about. There's feeling something, and then there's feeling something. Um,
Yes. Yes.
and there's been times. She's backstage again. Ah, there you are.
Yeah,
Sorry about
there she
that.
is.
Yeah.
So,
And
but there's a difference. There's feeling that things darker there, and then feeling that there's something there. The
oh,
ones where I
definitely.
walk in and feel like someone's sitting on my chest are places I tend to go, you know what? I'm not gonna no, we're not messing with this one. And
Yeah.
generally there's some kind of negative, something attached to that feeling. So
Oh, yeah.
I tend to stay away from the places that feel like there's something there.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
There were houses that even we would look at online, and I would tell him, nope, nope.
I,
You just
I get a sensation just from the picture. No, thank you.
yes, and yeah, and or I would point things out to him. Do you see this? Look here. Do you see this? Look here. I'm like, nope, not even considering it. Don't even.
Yep.
Not
Yep.
dealing with it. We get
Yeah.
Well,
enough
and
of it.
it's funny. I actually have someone who recently sent me a picture of their house when they got it. It's their apartment. But the real estate agent had taken a photo and put it on Zillow or whatever the heck it is, where you can go apartments.com or something like that. Anyway, you can see three clear photos of what looks to be people in the window.
Oh wow.
And I actually have this on my phone. I'm going to have to show you guys next time I come up. But she was another guest that was on my show, and I showed it on her episode. But you can see the apparitions of three clear as day. Looks like they're looking out the window at you. Pictures.
Mhm.
Now, if I saw that prior to moving in, I would not have moved in.
Exactly. There
That
was
house
a
is begging.
yes. Well, there was a house that we had gone to look at, and just driving down the road to get to this house, we passed a house and had to stop at a stop sign. And I had the heebie-jeebies just because I was on that side of the road, and I thought, okay, well, we'll go look at this house. And on the way back, I asked my husband, I said, okay, I said, I want you to stop, but I want you,
I love Kendra says big old cup of nope.
but yep. And I said, I want you to stop. And I said, but I want you to pull up on the opposite side of the road.
Right.
And he pulled up on the opposite side of the road. No sooner had I gotten out of the truck and got halfway across the road, I felt like I had been punched in the gut and
Oh
just
no.
was so ill. I could hardly stand up straight. I was so nauseous. And I looked up and I told Danny, I said, that thing, don't ask me how I know. I said, I just know. I said, but that thing.
What? Okay. Sorry, my daughter found her passy.
Oh, it's okay. I said that thing is standing right there like this. I could just see it in my mind. It was just like, okay, come on. And it was not of this world. And I just told him, I said, no, give me back in the truck. He had to physically help me back in the truck. And
Right.
it was just, that's
Now,
to date the most intense.
I have to touch on this for a minute because people always make the assumption that just because we say it's not of this world, that we mean it's alien. No, there's the spirit realm. There's, I believe, alternate realities,
This wasn't human at any point.
and then there's the demonic realm, which was where I was
Yes.
going with that. And
Yes. Thank you. Yes. This
so,
was definitely had never been human.
but just because we say it's not of this world, does not mean that it's not. It's not from Pluto. Okay, we're not
Right.
talking
We're
about
not talking aliens
some
here.
far off
Right.
galaxy. Where we're talking about in our own realms, there are
Yes.
different realms, and in these different realms, you have demonic realms, you have angelic realms, you have the
Yes.
spiritual realms, and then you've got places like limbo, where,
Yep.
with what I believe, we see a majority of ghosts stuck between this limbo and our world. Um, Kendra says, too many houses watch me as I drive by, and I've seen so many people for milliseconds driving around. Well, I can relate to that.
Just out of the
Um,
corner of your eye.
But we,
Yeah.
we actually
yeah,
have a
right out the
phrase for that.
corner. It's like the shadow figure that you see run from one end of the room to the other, but you don't see it. You see it, but you don't see it. It's like
Um,
right out the corner of your eye, and you turn real quick and you go, "What was that?"
we actually have a phrase for that when we're driving around and we catch that and we'll be like, oh, that's a pretty house, or we'll drive by a house or something and we say that house looks back at us.
It does, and I do.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Sometimes you do this. You're like, I want to
like
see.
tunnel vision. Like I don't want to see it.
Like,
We're not looking out the window today.
yeah.
We're not looking out the window today. We're not house shopping today.
Yep.
We're not spirit shopping. um, but no, there are a lot of different what I like to call worlds, and yes, the spirit world, in my opinion, is just a world that's stuck between the physical world and the spirit world.
It
Um,
runs at a different vibration than we do.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why people use things like the SB7 or SB11 spirit box, because it uses frequencies that can be used through all different spectrums, not just my world and their world. It works in all different spectrums. It allows them to use those sound waves to communicate with us.
Hmm.
Same thing with obelisks or any form of verbal hearing wise EVPs, um,
Yep.
contact.
The
I
Ovilus
don't.
is my favorite.
I love the ovilus personally. I don't, and I'm going to say this with the emphasis that I put on anything where it's real. I don't use Ouija boards. I
No,
don't like them.
No.
I don't
no,
use them. I won't touch them. I won't even let one in my house.
no, absolutely
Um,
no.
there's just too much controversial everything connected to them, I'm good. But I will use a spirit box and I will use an Oculus. Um,
Mhm.
and I have gotten some really great communications. As an avid book reader, I have an unhealthy obsession with hearing all the stories. That's awesome. I love reading myself. Personally, if I could, I'd read a book a day. I have 3 kids, which makes it almost impossible, but you know, I do try. If it's there, I'm not. I love that. Okay. So we are coming up at the end of our episode, ladies and gentlemen. I want to say thank you very much for again having our awesome, my favorite family on. Hopefully next time we'll get to see Maida and Ryan. I'm hoping for the day that we can actually have everybody on. It's going to happen eventually. It's going to happen eventually. Just not today.
Yeah, Maida has some really interesting stuff to share. It'll be a really good show.
um, Absolutely.
She's
I
got
think it'd be great to
pictures
have
and stuff
everybody on.
too. Yeah,
But next
yeah,
time, why don't we give us a little bit of a preview of what we can talk about next week while we're here? Thank you, Kendra, for coming on.
yeah. Well, it hopefully if we can get Veronica on as part of it. A house that I lived in Denton for about 5 years, and there was a male spirit in it, and actually physically saw him one time. He let me see him, and he was one of those that if you're in one room, he was in the other room.
Hmm.
Footsteps go through the living room into the kitchen. You'd hear like sounding like the door would open and close. You could be in a room and on the other side of the wall, like in the living room, the other side of the wall was one of the bedrooms. It was just a small 2-bedroom house. You'd hear like somebody opening and closing drawers, or running the clothes back and forth on the hanger in the closet.
Oh,
It just
Chantel
real
mentioned it.
active like that. Yeah. And then the house became like Grand Central Station, because normally wherever I am, they come in and out and in and out and in and out. So I had quite a bit go on in that house. But like I say, we're hoping to get Veronica involved.
Veronica.
Uh,
I was gonna
yeah,
say it sounds like
because
she's got some pretty good and experiences with you guys.
yeah, she did when she was in that house with us. She was like 4 or 5 years old, and when Chantel contacted her today to ask about if she'd have time to do that, she said, "Do
I
you
think we may have
remember the house?"
lost Chantel.
Yeah. She asked Veronica, "Do you remember the house Nana used to live in when you were little in Denton?" And she said, "Oh, the house with the little boy in it." So yeah,
Hmm.
she remembers.
Oh, good. Well, she does.
Yeah,
That's the thing is, if you're a child in a house and you grow up and you have it happening through your teen years, you'll remember it. But if you're a
yeah.
child and it happens for a short period of time, and then you move somewhere else and it's no longer happening, it's like those things never happened. So
Yeah.
some
Veronica's a
people
very
being
strong
able to
psychic.
retain memory of it is miraculous in itself.
Yeah. Veronica's a very strong psychic too. It just seems to run through the entire female
Nope, there she is.
line of my family.
There we go.
Just
For a minute, I thought we lost you.
Well, and I was messaging Kendra kind of on the side because she was asking if we had told the story of Emma yet, Mom. And
She
she
did
might.
mention the name Emma, but we didn't talk about that
yeah.
story yet. We have
I
2 minutes left, so if we want to go ahead and get into that, we can do
I don't remember Emma. Chantel, go ahead.
Ah, we're gifted like that. No, Emma was the little
Yeah, we
Indian
are.
girl that she used. The little Indian girl that
Oh,
she
okay.
used
Out
to
here at the
do.
house. Okay.
But yeah, I was trying to convince her that she needed to come on and tell her story.
Oh, I'd love to have her on.
Yeah, yeah. Because when Kendra lived out here, lived with me for about 5 years. When Kendra was still in school, and she had several experiences out here in the front bedroom and outside waiting for the bus. And yeah, like I say, my entire female line is just we're all psychics to one degree or another.
DJ wants me to.
So
Dude's
that's
DJ's her
that's Fluffy
husband.
Man.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
she's
that's
more
Fluffy
than
Man.
welcome on the show. Honey, you're more than welcome on the show. We'd love to have you. Um, but of course, I'm not going to pressure anybody. If you don't feel comfortable going on live, that's okay. But
She
it
may
would be
not. She
nice
may
to
not
have.
today, but she might next time.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Well, warm welcome. Um,
yeah.
thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. If they were here, Fluffy, I think left. It was good talking to you guys. And of
Thank you.
course, I will be on next Tuesday. I am sorry about the last couple of weeks. I actually had pneumonia, and I'm still
Oh,
getting over it. I don't know
Oh,
if you've heard me coughing, but yeah, that's the only reason I
Mullen
haven't
tea.
been on the show lately, is because I've had pneumonia.
Mullen tea.
I've been drinking tea, taking medicine. I've used my inhaler 150 times a day. It just sucks. They put me on steroids and gave me an inhaler and basically said, "Well, I hope you feel better."
yeah.
So
Chantel's real
that's
big with
about it.
holistic and herbal stuff, so she can get you set up.
Zinc.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, zinc, vitamin C, garlic, and turmeric.
I was gonna say I have a whole
Echinacea.
bottle of these like airborne gummy things.
Those are helpful. But yeah, if it's definitely zinc.
Well, then that's what I'll start doing. That and I do have a lot of like green tea that I drink.
Yeah, green tea's not bad. Um, if you can get a hold of it, if you got like an herbal shop or something, like I said, mullein tea is good. Elderberry, yeah, absolutely, Kendra.
Yeah.
Elderberry
I've
is
heard
excellent.
Sambuca.
elderberry's
Yeah.
good. I haven't tried it. Thank you, Kendra. I've
Yeah.
heard it's good though. I
Yeah.
just haven't tried it yet.
Make
We
sure when
just
you
Yeah.
lost
get
You
a
want
it
lot of
that you
elderberry
get
sambucas.
you want the Sambucus negra specifically. Um,
sambuca stuff. You're gonna have to write a list for me, honey. I ain't gonna remember any of this.
Just,
I can
just
do that.
email her. Send her a text with all of it.
Yeah,
I
I
have
can
a
do that.
terrible memory. I have to write everything down, put it on a calendar, and because if I don't, I'll forget. But yeah, if you can write like text it to me, I can do it that way. That way, I know what I'm looking for. But ladies, I gotta get my daughter to sleep. She's sitting here. I have Kaka change me and singing,
Oh
No.
no!
so I gotta change a pumpkin. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the outro, and
All
then
right.
get you guys in. All right.
Okay.